Come with me to a magical place where being labeled the Pork Queen is a compliment, where being nice is just a way of life, and where all leaders of the free world must pass through. Welcome to Iowa. Whether you're a current Iowan, an Iowa expat, or an Iowan at heart, this show is for you. This is the Iowa Podcast. Real Iowans, real talk, no drama. From the Brady Dental Care Studio, I'm Justin Brady, and today we're talking about Scandinavian heritage. For those that don't know, I'm Scandinavian. We have every year Swedish Christmas, and so maybe we'll talk about that a little later. But coming up is Scandinavian Days in Story City, and we have Shanon McKinley, the executive director of the Story City Greater Chamber Connection, in here to discuss it. Shanon, thanks so much for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
So, I am Scandinavian. We're going to get into all about what this is. But first, everybody, every week on this show, we bring you a new Iowan doing something absolutely fascinating that you need to know about. So if you haven't done it already, make sure to subscribe. Google, iHeart, Apple, Spotify, it's everywhere. Give it 5 stars, share it with 1 billion people. We appreciate that. So, Shanon, thanks so much for coming in here. Really appreciate it. First of all, let's start really broadly, and I should note that Nicole Engelhardt is in here as well, co-chair. We may turn your mic on later or not, but you're here for emotional support, basically. So maybe we'll just randomly turn on the mic and say, what do you think about, and then we'll insert some really hot button political issue. Just kidding. We're not going to do that. All right. So is there let's start broadly. What is the Scandinavian heritage outlook in the state? Is there a reason that we do Scandinavian Days here in Story City?
So it started as a celebration in 1965 in Story City. It was part of the Norwegian Independence Day is why it all started. So we do have a lot of people with Scandinavian heritage. And so they started this tradition, but then it moved because in May, it's not always the best weather in Iowa, as we know. So we moved to the first weekend in June and hoping for better weather. So that's when it got the name of the Scandinavian Days Festival.
When did the change happen?
So 1967, it started as the Scandinavian Days Festival.
Got it. Okay.
And then in 1969 is when it moved to the first weekend in June.
It was just moved for weather? Really?
Just really for weather.
Okay.
Yep. That's what everybody said, because, May in Iowa is not always the greatest. You might have snow or whatever. So we've moved it to that first weekend in June and usually have good weather.
Now, do Swedes make up, and, I guess I should say Swedes because I'm Swedish, I'm a little biased, but the Norwegian population in general, is there quite a few of us in the state? Is that kind of the draw?
Not anymore in our town per se, but the heritage of it all. So it's really became, the name has stuck with it, but it's really just our town festival, looking back on the tradition of where the roots of our community started.
Yeah, because immigrants, I was actually looking up this before you got in here. Norwegian immigrants started settling in Iowa 1839, which was crazy, primarily Midwest and Great Lakes area. And so, I guess it makes sense how I got here. So generally, what is the lay of the land during Scandinavian Days? How many days are there? What happens? Is this you all go sit in a theater for 2 days? Is it the whole city? What does it look like? Can you give us an idea?
So it's kind of changed over the years, and not to bring up the dreaded year of 2020, but that kind of changed how we did some things. So in 2020, our festival didn't happen. In 2021 would be, I think, the only time that I know that it was not the first weekend in June.
Oh, wow.
We had to switch it. We felt more comfortable. I shouldn't say we had to. We felt more comfortable switching it, waiting a little bit longer to have our festival. So we waited and did it in the end of July and put it with National Carousel Day. Now, if you don't know, Story City has a historic antique carousel that's over 100 years old, still in operation. So we moved it with that celebration that we celebrate always on July 25th as National Carousel Day, brought Scandinavian Days with that, and had just a one-day big old festival in our North Park. Last year, 2022 was our first year really kind of being back to the said normal. And I would still say probably, Nicole would agree with me, that we're still not probably what our normal used to be in the 90s or even 80s going back. But we're creating the new normal. So we have kind of a condensed version starting on Friday afternoon through Friday evening, where we finish off with the fireworks. And then Saturday is our main event day. So we start early at 7 o'clock and go till midnight. So a little more condensed than what it used to be. It used to be all day Friday through all day Sunday.
And what has changed? Because you mentioned that there was a big change. I mean, there are obviously some changes historically that have probably happened. Your website says as much.
Yep.
So let's talk about that. But then I also want to understand what changed like post COVID.
Volunteers.
Oh,
to be
really?
honest.
Really? So it's harder to get volunteers.
It's harder
now.
to
Really?
get volunteers.
Wow.
2022, it was the two of us in charge of it all.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So the fact that you're looking at both of us probably says
the
that
whole crew is here.
You got the whole crew.
The whole crew.
So this year, as much as we hated to say it, we couldn't handle it again. Physically, stress level, anything that all goes into it. Anybody that's ever volunteered knows what it's like.
Yep.
There's a lot of pre-planning, there's a lot of day of, and then a lot of things afterwards. So we put it out there that we might not do it in 2023 if our community didn't step up. So it happened that I put that on Facebook, and 65 people showed up to say, we can't let that happen.
Wow.
So here we are, and we're happy to say that we restructured it this year to kind of have area managers to oversee all the different aspects of it, with Nicole and I being the co-chairs, being the top of the umbrella per se, and then we have all these area managers below us that are pieces of the pie in charge of that. So that's how we're doing it this year, and then they were in charge to get all their volunteers under that. So I will say it's been a different feel for the two of us, but in an awesome way to see our community come together to make sure that the tradition continues. And that's kind of why we went with the tagline this year with our Scandinavian Days is United in Community and Tradition, is that we really wanted to show our community the importance of this as a tourism thing and just loving your neighbor and being all inclusive.
Do you think that there's an element of COVID forced us all inside? We were disconnected. And then there was a little bit of that uncertainty when people were getting out and about. Is this safe? Should we be doing this? But now we're sitting here 2023. Do you think maybe the isolation and being alone is pushing people to get more involved in their community and out and about and meeting everybody?
Yes and no. I will say, yes, they want to see all that stuff happen, but they're still not the ones that maybe are 100% comfortable because they realized how valuable their time was during COVID of, I like to do this now. And I use the word no a little more frequently.
Sure.
But I feel like the people that we got with yeses this year truly are doing it for our community and to grow the festival in maybe a new way and a new light, but still staying true to our roots.
Yeah. Is there like I don't know the lay of the land in Story City, but is Story City kind of growing? Is there concern that, I know even in Des Moines when I was growing up, so I turned 40 here this summer, but there was this concern of what they called the brain drain, like students leaving Des Moines and never coming back and going to the bigger cities. Is there that same community in a smaller town like Story City? Is it pretty level? Is it growing? Are there concerns? What's that look like?
So we are growing, not at a fast pace by any means. We were kind of landlocked for housing. That has changed since the pandemic. We've got some new housing development. So we should see some positive with population wise. The nice thing about us is we're just 15 minutes north of Ames. So you don't want to call us a suburb, but we are close enough to Ames that we do draw a lot from that. And we are right on the interstate. You can see us from the interstate, which also is a great draw for that way. Our businesses and industries are definitely growing. We have a industrial park that is growing rapidly, which is great. So we see the positive momentum of our community population will continue to grow through the next coming years.
So I don't know about the industrial park.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about what's happening there, the growth, the companies, what's going on there?
Yep. So one of the first, and Nicole's been on that board a little longer than me. She can interject if I'm wrong, but MHEB it does trailers. So they were one of the first few out there, which has now taken a huge expansion and taken acres.
Wow.
So
okay.
They're huge. So they're growing. You can see them right from the interstate. We also got Quick Star that came right there also. We have Nextera, which do the wind turbines.
Oh, right.
We have Soilview. We have Tucson Manufacturing. So we have a lot of industry on that side of the interstate so people can see that, with also a sign that says land available. So we are always marketing to get more businesses in industry to come to that section.
Are you anticipating, because I think you probably heard, I think it was last year, I want to say, the Wall Street Journal announced that Apple was like pulling a lot of manufacturing out of China, looking for other places. They're onshoring some of it. I think there was another announcement, I want to say last week or 2 weeks ago, where they're looking to onshore domestically a lot of their manufacturing facilities. I know companies like Tesla have made similar announcements that they want to regionally position manufacturing plants. So, I mean, here we're in Iowa. Real estate is a pretty darn good deal. We have a lot of it. We have cheaper energy because of some of the turbines being made in your area. We also have a nice 80-35 intersection. We have good fiber connectivity. Are cities like Story City kind of looking at a possible U.S. manufacturing boom and getting excited about it?
Yeah, I will say some of the industries we have now are creating manufacturing parts for local companies that are, worldwide. So like the Sour Danfosses, and that some of that is done right in our local, even in our industry park. EB is on one side, Dose Manufacturing is on the other. They also use parts that the both manufacture together. So we're networking right across the interstate, a mile away from each other. So definitely, it's something we're always looking at. It right now in our pocket. I think we're looking at 4 different industries that are 3 of them, I think, being out of state, looking to come to Iowa. So always something going on with growing the industry portion of that.
Can you talk about who those businesses are?
I can't yet. I know. Sadly, that's always the question people want to know. But no, not yet. So hopefully for positive momentum, like Quickstar, they're doing so well in Story City. They have bought an additional lot to expand their parking lot, that they're that busy. So we are getting the numbers of vehicles coming off the interstate that way. And so, which is really great. And that's why we continue to look to expand and grow that.
What is that pitch, right? You have a company, I'm going to make stuff up, but like Samsung or Apple or a new car manufacturer is really interested in locating something in the Midwest. How do you guys pitch them to get them in Story City? What does that pitch look like?
A great place to live, work, grow, and do business.
Yeah, I mean, but is it like...
It is. And we work a lot with, like, say, getting school teachers. I mean, that's something that, that is usually transitioning. Our pitch, we drive them around. Our Economic Development Corporation and myself as the chamber, we go and we give them a tour. We show them all the awesome things with our swinging bridge, our carousel, our park system, our prairie park, our industrial park, our downtown, and just show them our community feeling. And I think that really sets us apart from others. The carousel just opened yesterday, and we had visitors from out of town yesterday, and they all say it's just the feeling. We have that warm, welcoming feeling of, doesn't matter where you came from, we're going to have a conversation and want to learn about you.
And I should just say, this is pre-recorded by 1 day in advance. So when you say yesterday, you mean Memorial Day.
Memorial Day, yes.
And so this will drop. No, that's totally fine. This will drop to tomorrow, which will be a Wednesday.
Yes.
So like we had Kevin Cabbage from Stanton, Iowa in here, I want to say like almost 6 months ago, something like that. And they're starting to see a lot of growth because now people can work remote. And of course, they have a fiber line. I think you guys have fiber internet to Story City too. Yep. So is that kind of an interest? Are there like people that depend on that fiber line? Are you seeing this growth of people that are sick and tired of being in the city? They have that flexibility to be remote. They want to kind of connect to nature a little bit more and not be in this like complete chaos. Are you seeing that be a draw for people?
I would say probably we haven't seen that so much since COVID. We've always been that community because we're so close to Ames. I will speak for my husband, who used to drive to Clive every day, now gets to stay at the comfort of our home.
Yeah.
Which, having fiber is great when you're doing your work. So we do have a good population that works from home now, but I don't know that's so much a draw for us because it's always been a draw for us just because of our location.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. So I want to get back a little bit to Scandinavian Days. Tell me about the evolution before COVID, because it's changed throughout the years. What are some notable changes?
Really a hard question. It's just had different elements. Let's just say it that way. So one element this year, I'll go, and it makes some people sweat a little heavily. We're going back to a beer garden. That's something we haven't had for some time. Anybody that's done a festival will know that adds an additional stress to anybody that's putting on a festival. There's a lot of other things that go with that. So we are bringing that back this year. Back when it was, and before my time that I ever got to go to one, they used to have it in South Park Beer Garden and have like the Nadas, a local Iowa band. So I didn't ever get to experience that, but that was the good old days, as when you talk to people in our community now, that's what they want, that feel again.
Well, why do you say it makes people sweat a little bit? Is it just the logistics, or you're pointing at Nicole there? Nicole, do you have something to say? She's covering her mouth. Okay.
So the additional of police enforcement, the security of it.
Oh, sure. Okay.
Making sure, also we're doing something different this year. It used to be that we would purchase the beverages and sell it. We'd have to find all the volunteers, which would take about 60 volunteers. That's why.
Oh, wow.
That's why originally our beer garden did die. To be honest, it died because everybody wanted it, but they wanted it because they wanted to sit there and drink, not because they wanted to actually help. So this year we had a couple of gals who are very passionate about it and have done a great job. But they looked at it as, how could we move around that? So we outsourced and hired Thirsty Pigs out of Madrid. And they come as the whole trailer themselves with the staff and serve all the beverages. So it took that off of our plate.
Thirsty Pigs.
Thirsty Pigs.
What is this?
It is a mobile
I've never heard of such a thing.
alcohol trailer.
Seriously?
Yeah.
So they just do everything. They do the permitting or licensing or whatever that stuff is.
They take care of all that headache work that we normally have. They've been big on Ragbri. That's actually how I found out about them. You ask your bike riders in town who I should get, who should you get for food trucks, who should you get for this. Thank you to our Ragbri bike riders that told me all this information, because I did not know about them either. So yes, a local, somewhat local, Thirsty Pigs for Madrid are going to take care of that. So should alleviate a little stress that way. So it decreased our volunteers from about 60 to we only really needed about 20 to pull off the beer garden portion of it.
They have the process.
They have the process and all that.
They have their little supply chain.
And they bring all their own staff.
Oh, they bring their own staff too? What an operation.
Yep.
That's absolutely nutty.
Yeah.
What else has changed? Anything else notable?
I don't. Yeah, one night beer garden versus two, I guess, would be one thing. Years prior, there was always two beer gardens, one on Friday. I would also say a lot of it used to be class reunions. We used to have, like, anybody that graduated from Roland Story, they always did their class reunion with Scandinavian Days. Well, then really? It got to be too much. So we've seen a decline in that. So that also is kind of a decline in numbers. This year we have a couple this coming back to doing their class reunions, but it's kind of been a dying thing to do it with Scandinavian Days. So we've just tried to, I guess, pivot is the best word of, like, what are people attending? What part do they really truly like? Like, we don't have a carnival this year because we didn't see the numbers. People said they wanted it. We played that game and kept trying. And the expense, it comes down to expense. Yeah. People don't get what it takes to put on a festival. It's not like, you just say, hey, we're going to have a festival and everybody shows up. There's a financial to it, too. So this year we went to inflatables. We're going to try something new and just do inflatables for kids.
Like kids.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we have park activities, the same park activities with face painting and balloon art. And the Iowa State Insect Zoo comes. We have a magician that was on Has Got Talent, I think he was on. So he's going to perform. So just trying to be more family orientated, maybe more than just focusing on the beer garden aspect of it.
Right, of course.
In that community. One thing we always do is the Kringula and Kumala eating contest, as bringing back that tradition and heritage of it all, which usually the same guy always seems to win it. And I don't know how he can do it because he's not a very big man. But so we do that. And that's always a big attraction that way. It has brought the question of, where can we eat kumala? Not a lot of people know anymore how to make kumala. So we've hit that hiccup this year. But hopefully our library is going through a big renovation, and they were hoping to serve Kumla as one of their fundraisers. They're still working on the logistics. Yes, we know the festival starts in just a few days, but that's what you do. You just roll with it, and it's all going to work out great.
Now, I know I've never heard of Kumla. I know all about Kringla because we obviously my wife's side is also they're Norwegian, and or they're Norwegian. We're Swedish. So I know all about Kringla. I don't know what Kumla is. Maybe I should know. What is that, and why is it hard to make?
Well, and Nicole could probably do it better. So if you think of like a ham ball or a meatball, but it's out of potatoes.
Oh,
and there's sometimes ham inside. Some people put the ham beside it, but most of the time it's in it, and it's covered with butter, like a lot of butter.
Yeah, of course.
And like a lot more butter. you boil it, yeah. So it's good. It's like a potato ball.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Because what would really be a sight is a lutefisk eating contest, because that would be a disaster.
We used to do a lutefisk throw with these plastic fish lubed in Vaseline.
Yeah, oh my!
It was
word.
the grossest thing ever, but it was fun too.
It's a joke. Every year we make lutefisk and no one eats it because we have a Christmas tradition every year, Swedish Christmas. Yep. And like no one eats it. And of course, one year, because no one eats it, my mom decided not to make it. And that was the year one of my uncles is like complaining about, where is it? And we're like, you didn't even eat it, man. Like, come on. So that's really funny. Are there any memorable stories like that have come out of Norwegian Days?
I would think everybody.
Lutefisk throwing is certainly one of them.
Everybody has a story. I think there's always, it depends on what age demographic you talk about. I had somebody today that I didn't really remember it, but there used to be a group that would put traditional wear on and march in the parade. They haven't done that for a few years. She brought it up to me, and I'm like, I kind of do remember that when I was a kid. So she was asking me about that. But I think you all have a thing. I remember when I was youth that there used to be like a flea market. That was the big thing. You all went to the flea market and got those little things you threw at each other and they popped. That was my memory of it as a kid. As an adult, I would say a lot of people say the fireworks. That is when we surveyed people, fireworks, the parade, the carousel, of course, is really big and popular.
So the carousel, you make that a part of Norwegian Days.
So
okay, got it.
The carousel is located in our North Park, and that is part of my regular job during the week and weekends also. And so it is part of like the activities that are going on, and we really do focus on that one. And then in our North Park also, we have a local band that's called the Kenny Freddy Band, which has a good following of our seasoned population in town, and they all like to come out and hear him sing. So he'll be on our band shell in the North Park, so you can get your food from the pool parking lot from the food trucks and walk up and then listen to him in the shade for 2 hours while the local band performs, and kind of hit the other demographic that maybe doesn't want the whole beer party aspect, more of the relaxed family time aspect of it all.
Yeah, I mean, there's like the beer thing. You can hang out, someone my age would like say hang out with the bros or something. But then there's also the kids stuff. Mm-hmm. There's like I was reading there's like a crafting component. Is it like a dollar horse speed crafting contest or what is it? Because we have a dollar horse in our house. And
no, so we have a craft show.
Okay.
So we have I think 18 different vendors coming from all over the state of Iowa.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. So that is in our high school gym, which is awesome because it's air conditioning. So if it's going to really be 90 on Saturday, I have a feeling they'll be very busy. But we have a service organization. Our local PEO group is in charge of that. So when Nicole and I are planning, we look at a lot of our local organizations that this is one of their ways to kind of raise their funds for the whole year by one day. So like our Grace United Methodist Church does a pork loin sandwich and bake sale, and they'll sell out way before the time's ever up. But they do the traditional goodies that, the kringle and the lefse and the krumkake, whatever. But see, I'm not Scandinavian.
It's okay. We'll accept you.
Okay. I just have to be here. No. So that's one of their big fundraisers for the year. Our local fire department, they do a pork loin and hot dogs at the fire station after our kiddie parade and our
Swedish hot dogs?
No,
just kidding.
Are they? Yeah, I don't know. Sure, go with it.
Nicole's just shaking her head. Yeah, whatever. Of course, that's what it is.
I don't know. I've never got one. I've never. Sorry. When you work it, you miss out on a lot of things, so you have to rely on other people. But so that's one of their fundraisers for the year, also. And then on Saturday morning, our pancake fundraiser is with our Kiwanis Club, and they raise money that goes back to our schools to buy books. So that's their big push for that, and do quite well. And then our local PEO that's overseeing the craft show, they do a loose meat sandwich in the high school also for the crafters so that they don't have to leave the building. So we really hone in to involve everybody. Like our Lions Club, they do bingo. That's their big fundraiser too. So we try to be all inclusive of that. And our Boy Scout troop does all our trash pickup. So we try to get all those organizations to kind of work cohesively together so that they get seen by everybody, visitors or townspeople.
So at the craft thing, you can buy stuff.
Yes, right. Absolutely.
Yeah, so you can buy dollar horses. You can buy that kind of Norwegian heritage stuff.
Yep.
That's super cool.
Yep.
I ask about Swedish hot dogs. And for those of you that are a little confused, you hear a third voice in here. Nicole, like I said earlier, is also in here, but she wanted her mic left off. So don't worry, we're going to leave it off. But if you're wondering, why isn't that third mic turned on? I hear someone. What's going on? She's just a helper today. But I ask about the hot dogs because when my wife and I got married, we were supposed to contribute to Swedish Christmas. And so you need to contribute a Swedish dish. So we had to do all this research about what are we supposed to do? And we wanted a vegetable and just didn't know what Swedish vegetables there were. So we just ended up roasting broccoli, and we just brought it. And we're it's Swedish broccoli. And everyone just kind of went with it and didn't ask questions. And that worked for years. And people are oh my gosh, I love this Swedish broccoli. And my wife and I just look at each other and so I guess everybody knows it now. Everybody knows our secret, but it's okay. We don't do the Swedish broccoli anymore. A good note to end on is your sponsor levels are absolutely hilarious. Most people have platinum, diamond, gold, silver, all these, ridiculous levels. Can you, before we wrap this up, and I want to give an opportunity to tell you, the website and how people can find you, but can you tell us what those sponsor levels are?
Well, I'm going to say you need to turn Nicole's mic on now.
Nicole, can you turn your mic on for this? Okay.
Because this was quite a long discussion that we had in 2020. It would have been for 2020's year. We did have those boring names. And we're well, why do we do that? And so Nicole got very Google happy, to say the least, and came up with the names. So I'm going to let her talk about the names.
All right, so Nicole, get really close to the mic and let's hear it.
It was pretty simple. It was literally me Googling Norwegian fun words and trying to come up with something that was not offensive as a sponsor level.
Yeah, and what are they?
They are skål, norski, legume, ufta, kringla, and lutefisk and lefse.
And now I'll turn your mic back off. Perfect. I appreciate that. Okay, Shanon, where do people go if they want to participate? What's the date? What's the time? Right. How do people get involved?
Well, and I'm going to we said it was only a Friday, Saturday, but we have a local theatrical troupe in our town that we are very blessed that put on shows. So they are doing Shrek the Musical, and that actually kind of is our pre-kickoff to the event. So that starts Thursday night, June 1st at 7 o'clock in the air-conditioned Roland Story High School in our brand new auditorium, which is amazing.
Ooh, cool.
I'm going to promote it because I'm part of that also. It is our biggest cast ever. We have 55 in the cast of Shrek this year. Wow. We had over 75 tryout, and we've never had that. Wow. So it is super exciting that we're seeing the theater just grow in our town. So then our events are mostly Friday and Saturday. We were talking back, and I'm going to go back because Nicole did just point out I missed one thing. So we also do a 5K on Saturday morning. Mm-hmm. And this year is new. Our Historical Society has put it on for the last decade. With the aging population of volunteers, they decided it was probably time to pass the baton to somebody else. And so a newer foundation called the Red Shirt Foundation, which is local to our school district, decided to take that on. So we're excited for them to have their first 5K with Scandinavian Days
Very cool.
this year.
Very cool.
So lots of things to do. We have a wonderful Facebook page, Scandinavian Days, pretty simple. Our website is www.storycitygcc.org, and under the tab of Scandinavian Days has all the schedule of events. Those are the two main ways to really find out everything about us.
Perfect. Shanon McKinley, Executive Director of the Story City Greater Chamber Connection, and of course the silent partner over here, Nicole Engerhart, the co-chair this year. Thank you both for coming on the show. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
And to my fellow Iowans, Iowa expats, and Iowans at heart, thanks for listening and subscribing to the Iowa Podcast.